Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, let's get the likes up, okay? Let's not be stingy with the likes. If you don't like the commentary that's on this channel, then why are you here? Okay, a like doesn't cost you anything. Let's get the likes up. Now, at the end of the day, I'll just keep stopping the broadcast in between if the likes aren't liking. Okay, just so you all know. All right? Just so you all know. And anybody who tries to say, oh, you're begging for likes, well, you're begging for this commentary if you're listening. Okay? So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, hey, we the people, Soul Sister, Claudette, Emperor Rex is in the virtual building. Rita is here, 504 Nola, Juju, DJ Big Six, Desmond. All right, let's get into it. I see you, Danielle, beloved. Okay. Everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Now, before we get started, hey, Volvo to Love, Buckhorse DC. All right. Shout out to all my loyal roads and all my moderators. Y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, Perplex, Deronda, Queen of Mona Huey. All right. So let's get this party started. We're going to have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so that all being said, we'll get this party started as soon as those likes get up. Okay, as soon as y'all get the likes up, then we'll get started. Okay, because I got time today. I got time today. I do too much hard work and research for mofos to be up in here watching and don't want to hit that like button. So hit the like button or we can sit here because I got time today. Okay. Berta, beloved, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, let me see if these likes are going up. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. There should be as many likes as there are people watching. Okay? Hey, LeVar. Thank you, Latin girl, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, that's better. Keep it coming. Now, let's get into it because here's the thing. You know, Trump and the DOJ gave us that fake arse list the other day with foolish names on there. Okay, y'all know. Now, what they did was they tried to muddy the waters. Okay, that's what they did. And this is just a blatant attempt to try to stall us. Okay, because they feel like, you know, we're going to have to go through the files and find out whether these people did anything nefarious or they're accused of anything, or just make us think that this is all just unreliable information, that we can't believe anything in the files or whatever. At the end of the day, I believe exactly what's in those emails. Okay, that I can see with my own too, and the pictures and the videos. I believe them. Trump's name is in these files. Now, let me tell you all something. Before they redacted the files, I reported to you that Trump's name was in the files at least 38,000 times. Now, that the files have been unredacted, some of them, because they didn't unredact all, his name's in there over 1 million times. More than Harry Potter's name is in the entire Harry Potter series. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, we're going to get into it. But first, rest in peace to Jesse Jackson, a longtime civil rights activist. He has passed away at the age of 84. Let's get into this news report about his demise. He had been sick for quite some while. Okay, here we go.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Vladimir Duthier in New York. We are coming on the air because the Reverend Jesse Jackson, a groundbreaking civil rights leader who became a two-time presidential candidate, died overnight. He was 84 years old and had been battling a long-term illness. An official statement says Jackson died surrounded by his family. Ed O'Keefe joins us now with a look at Jackson's life, his impact on the civil rights movement. Ed, it was indeed towering. Good morning.
Sure was. Good morning, Vlad. For decades, Jackson was a powerful and sometimes polarizing voice for change, emerging from the civil rights movement of the 1960s to become a national political figure and champion for marginalized communities across the country.
The people must unite to save humanity.
The preacher, civil rights activist, and presidential candidate was born in Greenville, South Carolina in 1941.
I was born next door to a white church. I could only attend as a janitor.
In his 20s, Jesse Jackson gained national attention as an aide to Martin Luther King Jr. and a leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
A shot cracked out from across the street, dropping him to the floor.
He was in Memphis on April 4th, 1968, when King was assassinated.
The white people's best friend is dead.
King's murder sparked tension between Jackson and other civil rights leaders as they struggled over who would lead their movement. Ultimately, Jackson launched his own organizations that later became the Rainbow Push Coalition, still advocating today for Black economic and political empowerment.
We shall fight this institutional racism wherever we see it.
He also became an international hostage negotiator. In 1984, he helped win the release of an American pilot from Syria. Later, he'd broker freedom for Americans held in Cuba, Iraq, and Kosovo.
To the White House!
His activism and diplomacy buoyed Jackson's first campaign for president in 1984.
We do not just need a new president, we need a new direction. Our leaders are talking too little to too many leaders in this world.
Jackson ended up placing a stronger than expected third in the Democratic primary. In 1988, his second campaign focused on increasing government spending and U.S. support for the Third World. But he came up short once again.
We must never surrender. America will get better and better.
After campaign politics, Jackson was a talk show host and was an early supporter, but occasional critic, of Barack Obama's presidential bid. Famously photographed in Chicago's Grant Park on election night, 2008. Initially diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, Jackson revealed in 2025 he'd been battling progressive supranuclear palsy, a long-term degenerative brain condition. But his public appearances continued, more as a supporter of a new generation of activists
In the filibuster.
fighting for voting rights, fair housing, and police reform. Echoing the same message he spent years preaching.
And nobody can stop us now. Moving on up. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
In his statement this morning, Jackson's family wrote, quote, "Our father was a servant leader, not only to our family, but to the oppressed, the voiceless, and the overlooked around the world. His unwavering belief in justice, equality, and love uplifted millions, and we ask you to honor his memory by continuing the fight for the values he lived by." The family says all public events celebrating Jackson's life will be held in his home city of Chicago. Details, Vlad, have not yet been released.
You know, Ed, I recall as a young teenager watching Reverend Jackson speaking at the 1984 and 1988 Democratic National Conventions. And what I was struck by then, as I am now, is how he stressed that offering hope to what he called those who had been disenfranchised. He wanted what he called voter inclusion, millions of people who were poor, who were black and brown, who were disenfranchised, who were the working class, to be included in the political process. He didn't believe that democracy could survive if those millions of people were not part of that process.
The line for that 1984 speech that sticks out: "My constituency is the desperate, the damned, the disinherited, the disrespected, and the despised. They are restless and seek relief. They voted in record numbers." It was a barrier-breaking campaign that opened up so many opportunities for so many others, most obviously President Obama, but also, frankly, the far-left movement. Bernie Sanders wouldn't have been able to run the way he did for president back in the day were it not for some of the things Jesse Jackson had brought up. There'll be a lot of examination of his life and legacy in the coming days.
Yep, he offered hope over resentment, and by doing so, he tried to heal a nation and help it fulfill its democratic promise. Ed O'Keefe for us this morning. Ed, as always, my friend, thank you very much. It was a beautiful obit. Once again, the civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson, has died.
Okay, now with that all being said, okay, my apologies, beloveds. I got kicked off the screen somehow. Okay, I literally got kicked off the screen after I removed that video. Okay, so anyway, rest in peace to Jesse Jackson. Okay, he was a long time civil rights activist, and he did a whole lot of work. Now, but the thing is, they talk about his presidential run, but let us not forget that Shirley Chisholm ran for president in 1972, way before Jesse Jackson in the 80s. Okay. Now, with that all being said, and without further ado, let's get into it, because Trump, what have you got going on here? Okay, first off, did you all know that they're protesting? There are massive protests that have broken out in New York. They were for President's Day, people were actually in front of Trump Towers protesting. Okay, because of the Epstein files, and as they should be, because I just feel like America is not mad enough. Okay, some people just are willy-nilly, like it's no big deal. It's another walk in the park. As far as I'm concerned, this is something that everybody should be upset about. Okay? This is something everyone should be upset about. Now, with that all being said, let's go to Donald Trump Jr., because I have a clip of him basically. Now, I want you all to pay attention, because this is from 2024, where Donald Trump Jr. is talking all the trash about the Epstein files and saying that people were trying to protect PDF files. Okay, this didn't age well at all. All right, this did not age well at all, because I'm sorry, this all applies to his father and his father's DOJ. Let's get into it. Okay, here we go.
Fine with all the other lists. As long as I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right? Speaking of which, how is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Fact of the matter is, he's absolutely in the Epstein files. Donald Trump Jr. Okay, he was friends with Epstein. Now, I so far haven't found anything nefarious about him, any accusations, but he's in there, and he obviously, had some dealings with Epstein. Okay, here it is right here. This is dated 2019. I want you all to pay attention, because isn't that when Jeffrey Epstein went to prison? Okay, this is dated Sunday, January 27th of 2019. Please miss me with it, Donald Trump Jr. It says, I'm back in New York, 14 to 15. Okay, 14 to 15, what does that mean? Is that the ages of somebody? I don't know. I have several questions. But at the end of the day, here's what it further says. Can we do coffee with Don Jr. Thursday or Friday? Only if easy. As you know, I like people that are funny. And then also said, I won't be there. Let me send you some dates. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, Donald Trump Jr., sit down somewhere. Okay, and then this red herring that they gave us with this bogus list is playing in our faces as if we're stupid. When the fact of the matter is, there's actually 12 of Trump's officials that are mentioned in the files, and not all of them in a good way. Mind you, most of them in a bad way. Trump specifically, okay, at the end of the day. And let's not forget Ahmadiyyah, who CBS refuses to get rid of. So the DOJ continues to muddy the waters by combining names in the files of politically exposed persons who are actually involved with Epstein with random individuals who are mentioned in unrelated ways. Okay, this is absolutely true. This is what they're trying to do. When they release that 6-page letter and send it over to Congress, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Muddy the waters. It's just a red herring. It's just a way to distract us. Now, Molly Jong Fast says, a new investigation examining emails sent between federal investigators and prosecutors has raised fresh doubts over the Department of Justice's claim that it has released the full cache of Jeffrey Epstein files, suggesting the material made public amounts to just 2% of the data gathered by federal agents. UK-based broadcaster Channel 4 News reported that internal emails seen in its journalists show federal investigators expected to process between 20 and 40 terabytes of data seized from Epstein's properties. Do you all hear this? Including his Florida mansion, New York townhouse, and private island. Now, the broadcaster added that emails between investigators discussed the data totaling up to 50 terabytes from the earliest stages in June of 2000. I want you all to pay attention because, see, here's the thing. This evidence that we have, these files they've released, the 3 million, that is only a tip of the iceberg, literally like 2%. Now, I told you all they're specifically hiding stuff in these other files that they refuse to release. They're talking about they're done, they've released everything. No, there's 50 terabytes of files at least. Okay, and 2% is not going to cut it. Now, I want you to pay attention, because if we found out all that we found out in 2% of these files, because there's hundreds of millions, okay, I want you to pay attention. Now, if we found out all of this information with just 2% of the files, what do you think is in all of them? What do you think is in all of them? Okay. And also, let me just say this. There's been some misinformation and disinformation going around. You have these idiotic MAGA Trump supporters who are also trying to muddy the waters. They're also out here doing everything they can, to help just make a mess of everything, because they have this MAGA guy going around saying, he started this whole thing and now other people are mimicking his talking points. He started saying, oh, France and Germany released the unredacted files. First of all, how could France and Germany release unredacted files? How could they even get the files unless the U.S. sent them to them? Okay, but here's the thing. France and Germany do have the files. Okay, they don't have, I'm sure they haven't released anything that's unredacted. That's what they have not done. That's a lie. But they likely do have some files that have not been released publicly, and that's because they're conducting investigations. So if they're conducting investigations into some of their people that were mentioned in the files, which is absolutely the case because they've come out and said it, then that would mean that they have more likely than not reached out to the US's DOJ and requested further information, more files. So they may actually have more files in their possession, but what they have not done is release them publicly. Okay, please pay attention. Now, this is Tom Barack, right? A very good friend of Trump's. So in August 2011, Barack emailed Epstein and said, just saw Sultan, who likes you a lot. I told him you are the best, that you are a first-class brain inside of a first-class human being. Miss you. Okay, so he was having conversations with Epstein. And he wants us to think that there was nothing to see here, folks. He's talking about the Sultan. Now, if you remember, the Sultan is the one who allegedly sent Epstein that torture video that he so admired. Okay, because he said, I enjoyed the torture video, remember? And so this is really a really good friend of Trump's, okay? But he was in regular contact with Epstein for years, according to these files. Now, please pay attention. So with that all being said, hold on. There's something else I want to show you all before I go to these protests. Okay, now I want you all to listen to what China is saying about the United States. And hey, I'm sure it's not just China. It's probably many world leaders, many different countries and nations. Okay, please pay attention.
Order from Congress. So the Epstein files are out, millions of pages, thousands of videos, an order from Congress. And what have we learned? Well, Democrats accused the Attorney General of a cover-up. The Attorney General calls a senior congressman a washed-up loser lawyer. Victims sit in the room watching their accusers' names blacked out, while their own names, their photographs, their suffering are leaked to the public. Welcome to accountability, Western style. For years, the Western elites, the Western men, have stood on what they call the moral high ground. They lecture other countries on human rights, on fair courts, on the worth of every person. They send diplomats to lecture former colonies about the rule of law, as if that law were a custom-made suit only for a rich man. So here's the uncomfortable truth the West does not want to face. The Epstein archive is not just one file on one criminal. It is a CT scan of the whole system, the courts, the banks, the politicians, even some academic institutions. Not evil in some movie sense, silent partners in real world sense. Silent through doing nothing, through convenient forgetfulness, through the quiet belief that some men are too powerful to ever be brought down. And yet these same institutions continue to grade the rest of the world on human rights, continue to issue report cards on judicial reform, continue to act as if they're the world's moral judge. The lease on that high ground has run out. It ran out in Florida courthouse in 2008. It ran out on the private Caribbean island with the Harvard professor as a guest. It ran out this month on the live television when the victim had to watch her abuser's name being blacked out while her own name staying in plain sight. The Western elites wanted to be judged by their good intentions. Unfortunately for them, the Epstein files contain only the facts.
Okay? Only the facts. All right? And that's what they don't want us to understand. They don't want us to know that these are actual facts, that these things actually happened and occurred. These allegations and accusations are 100% legitimate in most of these cases, in my opinion. Okay? And there is some very heinous things that have been alleged about Trump. I don't know why MAGA's sitting here playing stupid. Okay? Maybe they're not playing. I guess they really are stupid. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I find interesting. Now let's go to this, because this is a report from, was this from the CDC? But let's talk about it. Here's what it says. It says breaking. For the first time in U.S. history, minority births have outnumbered white births. New federal data claims a historic shift in U.S. demographics, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Births to racial and ethnic minority groups now account for more than 50 to 130%, 30,000%, 0.7% of all U.S. births for the first time on record. Okay? Now, meanwhile, and I want you all to pay attention to this, because here's the thing that I have to ask the MAGA minions. At the end of the day, y'all don't have a problem with these people torturing, abducting, torturing, trafficking, and murdering and eating your kids? Y'all don't have a problem with them eating your children? Y'all are already about to be the minority. Now, look at this right here. The white population is declining. Okay, please pay attention. They're about to be out of here in a minute because the Epstein people is going to eat up all their kids. Okay, Earth's most endangered species. Okay? Make it all make sense. Make it all make sense, because if they're not concerned, oh well, that's on them. That is absolutely on them. Okay, now let's go to what world leaders are also saying. And then we got to go to these protests. Honey, they just gonna let the people eat all their kids up and it won't be any of them left? I mean, make it all make sense.
Europe, where the former Prime Minister of Norway is charged with gross corruption, which he denies. To the Emirates, where the CEO of one of the globe's largest companies has stepped down after the files released displayed communications with Epstein, including an email with a reference to, quote, torture video. He has not been charged with any crime. In the UK, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor faces new calls to be investigated for allegedly leaking state secrets. And in Hollywood, top marketing exec Casey Wasserman is selling his talent agency. He's not accused of a crime, but said he regrets flirtatious emails he sent to Ghislaine Maxwell that had become a distraction. Epstein spun himself a web of global elites, many of them named this weekend by the Department of Justice. 300 high-profile people that appear at least once in Epstein's emails. Some in direct contact with him, others just mentioned in news articles. Criminality is not implied. But Juliette Bryant said when she met Epstein in South Africa, surrounded by powerful people, it made her feel safe.
A girl approached me and said she was here with the King of America. He was here with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker.
Bryant did not accuse the other men of wrongdoing, but said Epstein flew her to New York and then put her on a private jet.
As the airplane took off, he started touching me forcibly in between my legs, and I freaked out. I realized this is not a modeling opportunity. I've been kidnapped.
Bryant received damages from Epstein's estate.
In the last few weeks, Juliette, we've seen people like royals, prime ministers, people in positions of power face real consequences. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's amazing that they're all being exposed, but I just would like to see them all held accountable.
The pursuit of accountability continues. The House Oversight Committee will depose Ohio billionaire Les Wexner next week. The FBI labeled him as a co-conspirator in a 2019 internal document. Now, Wexner and all the men we mentioned deny criminal accusations.
From Europe, where the former Prime Minister of Norway is charged with gross corruption.
Okay, so much for Les Wexner. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. They said this was a worldwide trafficking ring. And that's exactly what it was. There are many other nations involved in this. Okay? Absolutely egregious. Hold on, beloveds. I don't know what in the world is going on with this. Hold on. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties this morning. Let me go to my next clip. My tabs keep closing out by themselves. Okay, I don't know how this is going on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
That today I saw a worldwide sex trafficking ring with people in other countries sourcing young children for Jeffrey Epstein, co-conspirators' names, men and women. Clearly, other people that might be on the client list that are on text messages and emails. Over redaction, dramatic over redaction. It looks like intentionally so. And then documents that are still redacted. And when we asked why these were redacted, that's because they were submitted into this electronic system redacted. And the people that were at our disposal to ask those questions did not know why they were still redacted, Jake.
Could you identify any of the names of individuals who are mentioned in the files that concern you? And if you're afraid of doing it with me now because of fear of lawsuit, there is the speech and debate clause of the Constitution. Obviously, you can go to the floor of the House and you could say it and not be sued. Can you tell us anybody?
Well, Jake, we have Pam Bondi coming to the Judiciary Committee hearing on Wednesday, as you mentioned. It's the first time she's coming to the Judiciary hearing. She's the only cabinet secretary yet to appear in the House on the Committee of Jurisdiction. And I think we're going to give her the opportunity to start naming people. I think that's what Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna have talked about. Obviously, these names need to come out. I think the DOJ needs to release an unredacted version of these documents while still keeping the victims' names secure. But there are clearly co-conspirators in here that they can name. Okay, I mean, in the documents I saw, we got pictures and their names. They're talking about sourcing girls. There's people in Paris. There's people in Russia. There's people in Czech sourcing girls for Jeffrey Epstein. And then other people talking about these girls being sent to them. They refer to them as, you know, we're dropping the child off. I mean, it's really gross, Jake, on how these people are talking about this stuff in text message and email. I think the American people need to see it and understand that this is a worldwide network that Jeffrey Epstein was running.
Today, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney said she's prepared to speak fully and honestly.
First, let me say that today I saw a worldwide sex trafficking ring.
Okay, you all, I may be a little late stopping the videos because I'm actually multitasking. Okay, now let's go to this other clip where they give an update. They say lawmakers blast Epstein file redactions as insufficient. And why is that? That's because they're not redacting all of the files. They're only redacting what they want us to see. Okay, they really don't want us to see any of it, but they're only redacting what they will allow us to see. Okay, that's what it is.
Talk about what's going on with the Epstein files. After allegations of improper redactions in the more than 3 million files the Justice Department just released on Epstein, and they gave members of Congress access to files that were supposed to be unredacted, they were redacted. Several lawmakers have come forward to explain why this is against the law, the most striking of which is Congressman Jamie Raskin, who said that he searched in the unredacted computers and found that Donald Trump's name was present more than 1 million times. To clarify, Raskin did tell Axios, quote, in the database, I typed in the words Trump, Don, or Donald and found almost 1 million results. Now, Trump has denied all wrongdoing with Epstein and the Epstein matter. He says he broke with Epstein because Epstein was poaching members of his staff at Mar-a-Lago. But at least one of the files Raskin has found appears to have contradicted what Trump has said publicly, claiming his association with Jeffrey Epstein. According to the House Judiciary Committee, Raskin did not elaborate on it. So we'll see. And here's what. Raskin wasn't the only one. After seeing the files, Representative Ro Khanna said there were 2 different rounds of redactions on there. There was the original FBI redactions in March. Those are still redacted on the files, where Donald Trump ordered the FBI, at least this is the reporting, to clear stuff up.
And they were supposed to unscrub that based on our law. We knew that when we were drafting the law. We said, we want those FBI files. You can't be hiding those files. They didn't do that. And they just did a second round of redactions at the Justice Department. And what they're showing members now is the unredacted version of the Justice Department's redactions, not the original redactions. And so they're in blatant violation of the law.
Rep. Suhas Subramaniam also chimed in, posting this on X. Was at the DOJ 3 times the past 2 days looking at the unredacted Epstein files. The search function didn't actually work. Half the stuff I was looking at was still redacted. We couldn't write on the files brought in or even use Post-it notes, just notes on legal pads. Look, we were promised transparency. What is this administration hiding? If they're not hiding anything, then release all the unredacted files. The people deserve to know. What we need is Pam Bondi to explain all of the redactions. What we need is public hearings. We need to know why these women's voices were not heard and why Jeffrey Epstein got this sweetheart deal. We need to see testimony. We need to see people like all of the other members of the FBI who worked on this case for the decades in which it was going to testify.
Pam Bondi isn't going to do a darn thing, okay? We should all know that by now. We saw basically what she did in that meeting, in that hearing. Okay, she was defiant. She didn't want to say anything. She gave no sorts of transparency at all. Now let's go to this protest.
In front of Trump Tower in New York City right now. Protesters are holding a President's Day flip-off, all giving the middle finger to Trump Tower. You gotta love free speech. This is happening in front of Trump Tower in New York City right now. Protesters are holding a President's Day flip-off, all giving the middle finger to Trump Tower. You gotta love free speech. This is happening in
Now listen, I want you all to see this this other document that I found. Okay, let's go over it. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. There is so many files. They want people to get tired of going through them. Okay, that's what they want. Please pay attention. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Okay, now this is one of the Epstein files about trafficking. July the 13th of 2020. It says threat to life, false. Okay, submitted text. When I was 6 to 8 years old and living at blank, I was rugged at night and given by my father blank to PDF file ring parties. The main house I was taken to is located behind blank at the end of a private road. Blank is next door. In the driveway of his house, I was hit by a dark blue car with a personalized plate ending in DOY, driven by Prince Andrew. I was not taken to the hospital, but I suffered permanent injuries to my ribs, hip, and leg on my right side. The car's hood figurine broke off in my hand on impact, and I later buried it near my home so it could still be recoverable as evidence. Have they gone to dig this up? Has anyone gone to check and see if what this person is saying is true? Probably not. After I was hit by the car, I woke up to Prince Andrew forcing his mouth on mine and pushing my legs apart. He R-worded me. In that house, I was also actually tortured with household tools and penetrated with a beer bottle. I have medical records of the resulting infection. Medical records is proof, it's evidence. Why aren't they going to investigate any of this? Why aren't they going to investigate any of these allegations? Because they do not care. This is a cover-up. Now, I once ran away from the house naked and made it to the blank community down the road. GPS blank and blank. I remember seeing and speaking to a man, so I think that there may be blank living in the area who could corroborate what goes on there. I was also taken to another house that I later recognized as blank and blank. There I was restrained on a table and tortured with electrical shocks by Ghislaine Maxwell. Who wants a pardon, by the way? Donald Trump better not let this devil out. And surrounded by watching men. I remember seeing Prince Andrew's face. After being R-worded by another man there, I tried to sneak out. Maxwell caught me and she beat me with the bristle end of a broom. She penetrated my private with the handle of the broom. She also threatened me, saying that I deserved to die, and hit me in the face with a broom, breaking my nose. I was only taken to the hospital for the broken nose after a rugby match so that the injury could be blamed on that. Do you all hear this? This is absolutely deplorable. And I also want you to know that in that same file, she also said something about another victim that she witnessed while she was there. Okay, these are all very egregious allegations, and I believe every word of them. I believe every word of them because too many people are saying the same sort of things. Even people who have nothing to do with the Epstein files that are coming out and talking about SRA, which is satanic ritual abuse. They're coming out talking about cannibalism. They're coming out saying all kinds of stuff. I found a video from an old Oprah episode, okay, from the 1980s, and it has been banned from TV. Now, I wonder why it was banned from TV. Oh, that's right. It was banned from TV because this woman who claimed to be one of those people who wear small hats was saying that her family really wasn't those people who wear small hats, and that in fact her family really were a bunch of Satanists. And that's what many of them do, pretend to be those people but are really Satanists. It reminds me of the Bible scripture, those who say they are Jews and are not are of the synagogue of Satan, because that's what that is. I want y'all to pay attention, but let's continue.
To the rabbit hole of like this Epstein stuff, I want you to slow down and ask yourself, why did the government even release the file? Because if you're anything like me, you know for a fact that the government is controlled by the elites, you know, like we all know there's elites now. So why would they expose the heinous things they did? Like, don't they fear that we would do an uprising and try to like, you know, just get them up out of here? And what I'm going to say next is going to sound crazy. But basically, I was watching this YouTuber back in the day. I'm gonna put his face right now. His name was like Mo Offman. And he basically said that the elites in a couple of years, and keep in mind when he said this, it was like 2016, 2017. But he was like, yeah, in a couple of years, the elites want to legalize cannibalism and messing with minors, like making it legal. I truly believe they're sending the files out, leaking it, showing us it so we can get desensitized so that later down the road, when they want to legalize these things, because let's be honest, they're probably tired of hiding. They just want to do it. We won't be tripping. They're already doing that, like with dropping memes. I know you see memes about the Epstein files. I think they call it meme warfare. And think about it like this, gang. If they serve Moloch and Baal, if we're all doing what they're doing, pedophilic stuff, cannibalism, gang, that God or whatever is going to get a lot of power. You feel me? Like we're all doing the same sacrifice.
Now, honey, I could never be bowing down to a devil like Moloch. And you know, Moloch was the god of the Canaanites in the Bible. Okay, but here's something I want you all to pay attention to, because I did notice this picture that I'm about to show you in the files, and it was very disturbing to me. But what this young lady said is something I was kind of thinking. And now it's all making sense. And I'll show you why in a moment. Let's get into it.
Hands down the most disgusting thing I've seen in the Epstein files. Those are babies wrapped around the fucking legs of that table. And that baby on that table, this is her memorial. This is her memorial. You can tell just by the fact that it's only her picture and the candle on the table. And those are 100% her babies that she gave birth to, but just taxidermied. 100%. You can't tell me any different. The babies 100% are in decoration because if you look at the table that you can barely see in the back, there's no babies on the leg of that table. They 100% kidnapped this girl, trafficked her, got her pregnant multiple times, probably more than 2, and now she's gone. What do y'all think? Because I personally think this is a memorial, and you cannot tell me no different. I'm sorry, nothing can convince me that this is not a memorial, and those are her taxidermy dead babies. I'm going to keep going through the files, and I'm going to update y'all on the next ridiculous thing I see, because this is sick.
Now, I'm sorry, but that does not seem too far-fetched, especially since I've reported to you all how this one man online was collecting dead bodies, okay, and doing similar things to them. Do you all remember that a couple of years ago? So, that's probably exactly what is going on. Okay. And then they talk about chop shops for humans and all this kind of stuff, honey. At the end of the day, this stuff is all so sick and depraved. And they probably do want us to find this stuff normal, because there's already a lady that's been going around for years, and I showed you a video the other day going around trying to make people think that PDF files are normal, that they can't help themselves, that's their sexual preference, and that it should not be criminalized. Okay, they're trying to make this stuff normal. I absolutely believe it. Okay, if they'll try to make us think that people are something that we know they are not and make us call them that, well, they'll do anything. Okay, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, make it all make sense.
This is Moloch, the false pagan god that the Bible explicitly warned God's people never to give their children to. Follow what I'm saying for a second and pay attention, because this ties directly into the pattern scripture has already exposed. Have you ever asked yourself, why children? Why youth? Why innocence? Why secrecy, isolation, and this darkness? To understand this, you have to understand who Moloch was and why God spoke so fiercely against the worship of this god. You see here, Moloch wasn't just a symbol. He was a real false god worshipped by surrounding nations such as the Ammonites and Canaanites. And his worship involved the sacrifice of children, often by fire. Historically, Moloch worship was associated with bull imagery, but also an owl. Are you following here? You see here, the owl represents secrecy and darkness tied to pagan practices. And we see that God explicitly condemns this practice multiple times. Leviticus 18:21, you shall not give any of your children to offer them to Moloch, and so profane the name of your God. Jeremiah 7:31, they built the high places to burn their sons and daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it come into my mind. You see here, this wasn't just murder, it was spiritual inversion. Because children in scripture represent the life, inheritance, promise, and proximity to God. They're the closest to the Creator. This is why Jesus kept emphasizing we must protect children, and that the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who are childlike. And this all explains why the enemy targets it, because innocence has always been sacred. But do you know why in ancient times people offered their children to Moloch? Because they believed it would bring them this power, this favor, protection. They believed it would bring them prosperity and status. They traded precious innocent lives for their own gain. Let me tell you something, we live in a crazy time. The more that you're alive on this earth, the more you realize that the Bible is the true word of God. And God calls this practice an abomination, not because of the act, but because of what it reveals, the heart of the people willing to destroy innocence for power, for pleasure, for status. But scripture also tells us that these things will not be hidden forever.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's go to David Icke.
Called Moloch or Molech was a deity that was an aspect of Nimrod, who keeps coming up everywhere, of course. And what they used to do is sacrifice children to Moloch or Molech. They put them through the fire. And in the Old Testament, you see prophets condemning the people for putting their children through the fire to Moloch or Molech. When I've talked to contacts, therapists and what have you around the world who work with satanically abused people, what those people tell them is that, again, when they're sacrificing children, the deity in the modern world today that they use to sacrifice them to is Moloch or Molech. Same seamless stream. So the question comes in relation to this, how do they symbolize Moloch or Molech, this deity to which they sacrifice children? They do it, symbolize him as an owl. They
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I called this morning. Hold on for just a second.
Let's hear it for him. As he gives that puppy a pat on the head, waving to all of you here in Oklahoma City. Feeling pretty good about that run, I think. Scores are locked. Score to beat is 9.532. The score for Blake Granger, Monster Run Dalmatian, is 9.246. That means your winner of Monster Jam Freestyle, Matt Cody in Gravedigger.
Okay, you all, I'm sorry for the inconvenience and for the interruption. Okay, Robert says, I watched that movie Eyes Wide Shut last night, Queen. Yes. And so didn't you see? I watched it the other day too and watched it again. Now, didn't you see that in that movie, they're talking about exactly what's going on in these files? Okay, the man that owned the costume shop was trafficking his daughter. Okay, and then they had that satanic ritual. That's what it was when they had that thing with the guy in the red cloak when Tom Cruise showed up. Yeah, this is exactly what they're talking about. And also, in my opinion, why Stanley Kubrick died. I think he was taken up out of here. And once he was taken up out of here, they actually did the last edits on the film. So I'm sure there's some things that they took out that they didn't want exposed. Now, that's just my opinion. Okay, and I find it interesting that he turned up dead so soon after that movie was made, just like the guy who did 120 Days of Sodom turned up dead, like I keep telling y'all. Okay, now here's the thing. There is some pictures. Hold on. There are some pictures of Trump. There's a lot of pictures of Trump in these files, okay, that somebody posted. I don't even know if I can show these on here. Trump needs to, oh my God, this is, Trump really needs to sit down somewhere, but he wants to tell his followers that he's not in the files. He wants to tell his followers he's not in the files, okay? Anyway, let me show you all something. Hold on. There is a video that this soldier did. Hold on, let me find it. Damn it, where is it? Hold on, beloveds, give me a second. Hold on. Okay, while I'm looking for that, I'm going to go to the videos about this protest or this boycott that they're talking about having March the 7th. Okay, they're talking about having a boycott or a protest March the 7th, okay, because of these fights. Many people are posting about this on TikTok.
So literally what needs to happen for March 7th to even start anything, and hopefully it is the ignition point. We all need to take our money out of the bank right now. You have to have everything cleared out by March 7th. If you want to stop what's happening, you have to stop the financial funds from going into their system. The banks is the very first place we run. And then everything else on March 7th, we shut the motherfucker down. We don't allow people to go to work. Why? Because we shut down the freeways. We shut down transportation. We shut down easy access on the roads. Any kind of job, such as if you're a trash man, don't pick up any more trash cans. Just sit in your trash trucks. If you're a toll collector, don't collect any tolls. Let the cars pack up. Make it very difficult for society to go forward. That's what needs to happen. And it needs to stay there. We need to gridlock this society from moving anywhere and from any funds being generated. Besides, the funds aren't helping us. It doesn't help us. And right now, the more funds that we generate for this fucking machine, the more harm we're doing to fellow citizens around the world. This isn't just something that we need to do to help ourselves. This is something we need to do to help the world. And this is the most non-violent way that we can speak and we can throw our weight around, so to speak. If y'all aren't willing to do this, I guess we just have to keep just see where it all goes. To be honest with you, I don't have any faith. I don't have any faith in any of you. In any of you. You just don't. The vast majority won't even fucking say shit. You'll sit here and agree with me. And you'll sit here and say, yeah. Nobody will do a goddamn thing. Oh God, there's ways, folks. There's fucking ways to handle this. You just have to want to. Quit being fucking lazy. Quit being fucking greedy. Quit being comfortable. I don't know. At the end of the day, reality is reality. If this is what it's supposed to be, then this is what it's supposed to be.
Asking about the strike on March 7th, so let me explain it to y'all. First of all, it starts on March 7th and it does not end until we see change. This is not a one-day thing because we already see that a day does nothing. The only people we need going to work are doctors, nurses, and first responders because we don't want anyone dying or getting hurt because of this. Nobody should be going to work or paying taxes, and if you can, do not pay your rent. No subscriptions, events, bars, any of that. Why? Because we want to stop pushing money into the economy. People are eating, dismembering, raping, kidnapping children, and nobody's doing anything. If we continue to move on, they will keep doing shit like this. We're building communities. I'm going to tag the creator that has the Discord. And she also started this movement. The Discord is separated by state. It is that way so people can speak together and build communities. Because if we're not spending money or going to work and shit as communities, we're going to have to work together. File exempt on your taxes. Edit your W-4 so no taxes are coming out. If you cannot participate, then go on. There is no point of spreading negativity. Instead of spreading negativity, what you guys can do is see what small things you guys can do. Find things you can do. You got to go to work because you have to have your medication? Fine. So avoid spending money on things that are unnecessary. If you can't 100% participate, you can still do something. Everyone was asking, what are people going to do about the Epstein files? People are trying to do something now, but there's nothing but complaints. Everyone's saying, oh, I can't do this. Oh, my birthday. Nobody cares about your birthday. They're eating kids. We're doing this so you can have another birthday. And God forbid you have kids in the future so they're not the next fucking meal. It is time to organize. We are waiting until March 7th because people need time to get themselves together. Buy only essentials. Participate in your community as much as you possibly can and as little as you can in government things.
Okay, so what do y'all say? We have to do something. Exactly. Okay. Look at Southern Breeze says stop going to work. Well, for a day, not permanently. You can't take a day off. Y'all take a day off for BS. Okay. Y'all take a day off for BS at the end of the day. Nobody's telling you to quit your job or just not go to work. Okay. Just take a day off on that day. Now listen to this, because I thought this was real interesting. And I want you all to pay attention, because I told y'all slavery's coming back if y'all don't do something, if we don't do something. Listen to this.
So I have a full video about this coming out soon, but Apple just bought another Israeli startup to the tune of $2 billion. This company spent $2 billion buying another piece of Israeli tech when they can't even offer their retail employees good enough sick or vacation time. Or they tell their retail employees that they can't afford to hire more people because they're too busy spending billions of dollars buying Israeli tech to put in your iPhone. Just so you know, this is not the first Israeli company that Apple has bought so that they can put Israeli tech into your iPhone. Your Face ID, that was started by a company in Israel. And it's really, really funny because this company loves to talk about how they're all about making the world a better place, right? It was literally in their credo. But somehow, when they post job postings, they have offices in East Jerusalem, which by international law is Palestinian land. But you know what they call East Jerusalem? Israel. So this company is massively Zionist. And for the last 2 years, I've continued to talk about how Zionist they are, and I will continue to educate.
Southern Breeze said, hell, slavery never ended. So that's a reason to keep it going? That's a reason to keep it up? I have several questions. At the end of the day, we all need to be doing something. Okay, if you're not doing anything, if you're not willing to do anything, please unsubscribe. Okay, if you're not willing to do anything, okay, whatever you can do, if you're not willing to do one damn thing, please unsubscribe. Okay, because I don't know you. And that's just a fact at the end of the day. So, anywho, let's continue.
This point, respectfully, I don't want to fuck with nobody that don't really give a fuck or got their eyes open with what's going on. It's just that fucking simple, bro. It's too much for motherfuckers to sit there and be like they got more important shit to worry about. Bitch, they eating babies. Yeah, shit you see in TV. Shit you see in TV. Shit you read about in books. That's what the fuck they doing. I can't fuck with nobody who is not concerned with what's going on behind the fucking scenes. If you a Dorothy ass motherfucker and you not concerned about the man behind the motherfucking curtain, fuck out of here. Exit left. Energy manipulation. The shit you hear about in anime, cartoons and shit like that. Fucking Marvel. Energy manipulation, my nigga, you telling me like there's devices, they're controlling and manipulating energy. They're manipulating our chakra systems. Time travel is a fucking thing. Time travel is a fucking thing, bro. Like they've been doing it for the longest. My nigga, AI has been here since the motherfucking 50s. I think it's the 50s or the 70s, one of the fucking two. But still, my nigga, we think we just got AI in 2026? No. The fuck do you mean rituals? Like fucking rituals. What kind of rituals? I don't even want to know what the fuck they do in the rituals too. It's just the fact that rituals are a real fucking thing. Like every fucking scary movie.
Yeah, they were showing us the truth. They were showing us the truth. And if you ask me, the United States needs to do the same thing Bulgaria did.
Let this sink in. The Bulgarian government just resigned. The people have the country back. 250 people control 8 billion. We can do it. We just have to all stand up together. So much division. So much division they have caused us. And all we have to do is stand up together. And they have to resign. They have no choice. Let this sink in.
Okay, people, so what are y'all going to do? Barbecue or mildew? Okay, I have several questions. And also, let me just tell you all this. You heard what they just said, right? About them putting spyware on our phones. Y'all heard that, right? Putting spyware on our phones. Okay, please pay attention. That's absolutely nefarious. But not only that, hold on. Let's go to this clip, and then I'm going to go to what this soldier had to say. Y'all need to hear this, because this is getting real crazy.
from the former congressman who proposed the bill to ban TikTok that he did it because of Israel.
Mike, how did that legislation pass so quickly? If this is correct and there's not a lot of people that understand, somebody understood something.
I want to see if you're going to tell the real story.
How did it pass so quickly? I know we're running out of time. One, we stole the senator's work, and he did a lot of the, sincerely, a lot of yeoman's work in drafting an initial bill. We were able to sort of learn from that experience. We refined the approach. We worked with him. We worked with the executive branch. So we had a bipartisan consensus. We had the executive branch, but the bill was still dead until October 7th. And people started to see a bunch of anti-Semitic content on the platform, and our bill had legs again.
The bill was dead until October 7th, and then it had legs again. Congress had been trying to pass a law based on classified briefing with intelligence. They'd been told that Beijing was trying to use TikTok to access Americans' data for nefarious purposes. But we have yet another public admission, this time from the former congressman who...
Okay, y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard why they said he did that. Now listen to this, what this soldier had to say. I find this absolutely egregious. Okay? I find this absolutely egregious.
20 years of service in the military. Yesterday, I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for a post that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people. Yes, you heard that right. I am deemed a threat to national security because I don't support Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people. Since when does not supporting a foreign nation get a U.S. soldier investigated for being a threat to national security?
Now, I want you all to pay attention to what that man just alleged. At the end of the day, being under investigation because of a post he made about them, that's not our country. Why should we have loyalists to that country over our own? And why are our soldiers being put under investigation? Now, I want you all to pay very close attention, because if you don't, and if we don't do something pretty soon, we're going to look like Gaza, and we're going to be the Palestinians, Black people. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. Spyware on your phones. You can't say anything negative about them. They control TikTok. Y'all don't find this absolutely egregious? They've infiltrated all realms of our government. Okay, they're in the media. Who's running CBS right now? So either you're going to help the Trump administration or you're going to go against the Trump administration. Okay, so make your choices and make your decisions wisely, because really, people, this is very serious. And whatever we do at this point depends on the future. If nobody does anything and everybody that's a pedophile and everybody that's involved in this stuff gets away with their actions, this will continue. It's already going on right now. It has never stopped. It has never stopped. So at the end of the day, you all need to be ready on March the 7th. If you can't take a day off from work, then do something else. Okay? Don't buy from these stores, these big corporations who supported Trump, who donated to his campaign. Okay? Don't buy anything from these companies, especially like Frida Baby, who promote sexualizing children and babies. Okay? And quite frankly, since Netflix has allowed Trump to invest in it and he gave them like $1 million, I really think we should boycott Netflix, and we should also boycott them definitely because of what they did to Michelle Obama when she was outdoing Melania with her documentary. We all need to do something. What does America love? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Nothing but blood and revenue. Okay? Blood and revenue. At the end of the day. So that all being said, I'm about to be out of here. I may be back later. I'm not sure. But in a minute, if you don't do something, we're going to be living just like other people in other countries under dictatorships. There's going to be very little of what we can say. If we speak out against the administration, if we speak out against the other country that they keep caping for, if we do or say certain things, they're going to start deeming us as terrorists. And this is no surprise. It shouldn't be, because I told you all this about 3 years ago. I told you all this about 3 years ago, that if you say certain things about a certain particular country, that they're going to start deeming us as terrorists. Didn't I tell y'all that? Okay, I saw it coming from a mile away. So with that all being said, listen, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay, and also, listen, don't, some of you all can go through these Epstein files yourself. Okay, I implore all of you, okay, to go through some of these files yourselves. Okay, with that all being said, I love you all to life. And I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no